Violence against young people is persistent, pernicious, and widespread, as more than a third of women and girls, over 1 billion people, experience intimate partner violence or non-partner physical or sexual violence in their lifetimes. And 1 in 8 young people worldwide has reported sexual abuse, and we know that that is likely an undercount. The risk of gender-based violence is higher for people, young people especially, living in poverty and vulnerable situations, and those in forced migration or humanitarian emergencies. Fundamentally, gender-based violence and maltreatment are human rights violations. They're violations to the human rights of equality and non-discrimination, to the health and the security of the person, to privacy, to freedom from torture and cruelty. Survivors live with long-term health effects, and whole societies and economies are affected with the increased demand that comes from gender-based violence on overstretched health systems, and all of that adds to the perpetuation of poverty and gender inequality. We know that crises are a catalyst for increased gender-based violence, and certainly we've seen with the COVID-19 pandemic that this has happened again. In addressing gender-based violence, it's really important that we hear from young people. It's really important that we hear from young people as we think about not only preventing gender-based violence, but also in kind of the services and the strategies that are needed to help support survivors of gender-based violence. Youth voices are vital, and yet too often are not centered or heard from. And so I just want to thank you all for being here today as we do center young people's voices, as we do hear from, listen to, and hopefully begin to really respond to what young people are saying they need in this moment and in the many moments ahead.